Welcome to Geisman Gymnasium as we have a game day here. It's senior day for the Concordia Chicago women's volleyball team as they take on Marian University. And this is a big day. Like we said, it's senior day. I am Eric Curry, joined by the incredibly talented Alfredo. And Alfredo, big day for the CUCs. They're hoping to pick up some much-needed momentum.
No, yeah, absolutely. This team has had a lot of potential throughout the entire season. And as we said, it's senior day, so we have a couple seniors that we'd like to mention. Kristen Bockhurst, Kate Foley, Lily Hunt, Eva Fitzgerald, Michaela Lavoie, Janelle White.
And the Cougars waste no time as they pick up that much-needed first point. Sorry to cut you off there, Alfredo.
No, yeah, but like as we mentioned, those are the seniors that will be that we're fortunate to be with us in this team for many, many years, and let's hope that there's some new faces next year.
Eva Fitzgerald with the serve, gets it over, and that's a bad take by Marian, and the Cougars jump out early as Eva Fitzgerald picks up the ace. Just like you said, Alfredo, it's a big day. We're celebrating the extremely talented seniors here. Fitzgerald gets that serve over, and that's going to be back-to-back aces for the Cougs and for Eva Fitzgerald. That's just what you want to see here at the start of a match.
Yeah, this Concordia team comes from losing 3 games, but we'll hope that since it's senior day, they'll have that extra little motivation.
And it always helps, too, being on the home field as that's now served over, hit by 17, received by 10. Lily Hunt made contact with the ball, but wasn't able to get a good set, and Marian gets on the board. Now serving for Marian is number 23, Reagan Montello. Montello gets that over to Fitzgerald, and that's hit straight and received by Marian. Hit over. That's going to go off the pin on the side, so the Cougars managed to go 1-1 with the Cougs.
This Marian team has a little bit of extra motivation considering they just came back from a win, but they have lost a lot in a row before that, so we'll see how they do this game. That's
going to be important to see how they do. And that hit by, I believe that was number 28, Kylie Krieger. That goes a little bit wide, and the Cougs are the first of 5 early. Got the serve by number 13, Rachel Livesay. Gets over, received by Michaela Mueller, hit over. Ooh, and Livesay was calling for that one. It looks like just off pure instinct, Eva Fitzgerald was in the way of it. Livesay made a good run at it, but was just too far. So Marian will have possession now, trying to cut into this lead. Serving for Marian at number 30, Kaylee Engabus. Engabus gets it over, received. Livesay hits it up. Ooh, little tap there by the Cougs. Sent back over by Marian, just kind of a dump off there. Fitzgerald gets it over, hit. Marian receives it. Again, having to push it over. Blocked at the line by the Cougs, set up. Fitzgerald hits it up. And a big hit by number 10 for the Cougs, Lily Hunt. Cougs were able to work until they saw the opening, and Concordia's been rolling early.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, they really want to get another win. Their last win was against Alverno. It was a pretty good win. However, Marian's had a 16-game losing streak, so we'll see how they do.
Cougars hoping to take advantage, and there was some miscommunication there by the Sabres. There were several people surrounding the ball, but it looked like they just didn't know what to do with it, but the Cougs all too happy to take advantage. Now again, Janelle White, number 18, going back to serve. Serve by White is up and over, received by the Sabres. Tapped over, received by Fitzgerald. A big hit by Lily Hunt. Received by Marian. Just kind of sent over directly into the net. Anya Unger looked like she was trying to get a set over, but just sent it directly into the net, and that's going to cause the Marian coach, Blake Badke, to take his first time out early.
And it's a quite big advantage for the Cougars, and I think that they could really take this set pretty easily. What do you think?
I definitely agree with you on that one, Alfredo. So far, we've seen that they have been working on the communication, which we've seen them struggle with at times throughout the season. There's just been some miscommunication that allows the other team to score points. But thus far in the match, only 10 total points have been scored. But the Cougars have been looking very cohesive. And while the same cannot be said about the Sabres, like you said, it's been a rough season for them. They're 2-20, coming off a 16-game losing streak, and yeah, they're just trying to find a way so that they can have at least some good momentum here at the end of the season.
Yeah, and it also helps that a lot of the seniors are on the court, so a lot of them are very experienced. They already know how to manage these games, high pressure. It's going to be perfect for them. It's a perfect environment.
That's a very good point. Like you said, Alfredo, CUC has got a lot of great seniors, so that gives you some experience that other teams just don't have now. As once again, Janelle White, 18, going back to serve. As Marian's trying to ice her out. Does not work as the serve gets over. Hit up by number 30. Nice dive. And that's hit over by Butchlick. Received again by Butchlick. Goes over the net. Nice play by Lily Hunt to make contact with it. Lily Hunt again. Perfect placement by Lily Hunt. Got it right past the outstretched arms of Reagan Montello. And that's big for the Cougs, picking up that first point out of the Sabre timeout.
Yeah, just expanding the lead, almost going into double digits. Let's hope that this next play can be the one that pushes over the line.
That's what they're going for with this. Janelle serve gets over received. Hit back up. Ooh, really close to the line, and no one's able to come down with it. Anya Unger hit that right at the net, and it looks like the Marian players were uncertain about it. And like you said, Alfredo, Cougars first 1 to 10. Serve gets overfielded. Hit back over by 13, and that's going to go wide. Anya Unger again was trying to go for that far corner of the Cougs, but it's put a little bit too much sauce on it, and the Cougars are just growing their lead. Tap, nice hit by Lily Hunt to get it up. Hit up by Eva Fitzgerald. Big hit by the Cougs lead. That was Kate Foley, number 5, trying to find that far corner of the Sabres, but just put a little bit too much on it. So the Sabres finally get a point to go their way coming out of that timeout.
Yeah, they're going to want to try to use as much of these opportunities as possible to get back into the game.
Hit up. Ooh, big hit by number 14, Michaela Lavoie, sent right off the arm of a Sabre player. Just went straight backwards. So Cougars say, hey, Marian's going to get a point. We'll take it back and get one of our own. Is now number 10, Lily Hunt, back to serve. Hunt's serve is over, fielded by number 23, Reagan Montello. Hit up. Blocked at the line by the Cougs. Hit up again by Montello. Unger hits it, fielded by Lily Hunt. That's just going to get over the net. Nice play to keep it alive. Tap by the Cougs. Can the Sabres save it? They can. They're just going to have to dump it off over the net. Hit up again by Janelle White. Oh, and that's going to be in for the Cougs. Picture perfect placement. I believe that was number 14, Michaela Lavoie, put it perfectly on a dime in that far corner. That was a beautiful shot.
It's a great game for Lavoie. Yeah, she's one of those seniors that has all that experience and keeps getting those points.
Fortunately, that serve is just going to be a little bit too far, so Marian will take possession back. But again, Cougars on a roll early here, up 13-4. It's now number 5, Jenna Butchlick for the Sabres serving. Hit by Livesay. Hit by number 5, Kate Foley. She saw the hole in the middle of that Sabres defense, and she exploited it.
Yeah, it's absolute domination by the Cougars. Marian get a point, and the Cougars get like 3 or 4.
Exactly. And Foley gets that serve over again. Back-to-back service errors by the Cougs. They've just been hitting a little bit too far. Now substitution for the Sabres as number 25, Lily Breed, is entering the game in place of number 13, Anya Unger. And Breed will immediately go back to serve for the Sabres, trying to do some damage. Nice dive to keep it alive. Hit over. That's going back. Cannot be saved. Rachel Livesay hit it back. It was off the arms of a Sabre player and just went up into the bleachers here. So again, Cougars get possession back and get back to a 10-point lead. Michaela Lavoie with the serve for the Cougs. Gets it again. So that is something, obviously the Cougs win. That's something you want to be a little bit concerned about. You've had back-to-back service errors for the Cougs.
Yeah, that's how Marian has gotten most of their points this game. There really hasn't been much competition. It's been mostly errors from the Cougars.
It's literally half their points, yeah. Serve by Marian, gets over. Nice run up by Livesay. Oh, and again, little bit too hard. Number 4, Kirsten Bachwurst was trying to punch it to the back. And for the first time in a while, the Sabres record back-to-back points. It's number 3 for the Sabres. Michaela Mueller's about to get it over. Fielded by Livesay. Hit up by Fitzgerald. Fielded by Marian. Powered by 8 off the fingertips. And Kate Foley made a diving play for it. She knew she had to try to field it because of the earlier shot went off the tips of the fingers. But hey, Marian's now put together a 3-point run. Yeah,
they're doing quite a nice run of points right now. So let's see if they can expand it.
Miller hits it up. Fitzgerald gets it. Livesay with the shots. Kept alive by the Sabres. Popped up, hit over again. Fielded straight by Foley. Hit up by Fitzgerald. Rachel Livesay. Marian able to field it again. Popped up by Fitzgerald. To Janelle White. Hit over. Gonna go back over now. Marian just has to dump it over. Hit up by Foley. Fitzgerald. Blocked at the line by Marian. Set up again by Fitzgerald. Rachel Livesay kept alive by Marian. They're just going to dump that one over. It's so close to the net. Fitzgerald again. Again, Marian keeps it alive. Blocked at the line. Hit up by Fitzgerald. Dump over by Fitzgerald. Tried to zig. And in the end, Marian wins that marathon set, able to just place it just past the outstretched arms of Lily Hunt.
You know, it's nice when your team dominates most of the game, but you know, you want that little bit of competition, that little bit of excitement. So this is a good thing, actually.
Served over by Marian, fielded by Fitzgerald. Power shot there. That's going back. Nice save attempt by Marian. Number 23, Reagan Montello gave push, but Cougars get a point back, stop the 4-point Sabre run, and once again have possession as Eva Fitzgerald is back to serve. Fitzgerald serve gets over, fielded by Montero. Hit up by Marian, tip to the line. Kept, nice play to keep it alive. This one's just gonna have to get over. Ooh, and not able to. Lily Hunt tried to adjust as the ball was coming down. She knew she had to get it over the net, but just didn't get the right placement, and that one went a little bit low.
Yeah, and the score is closing up a little bit. Now it's only a 6-point difference as opposed to the 10-point difference we had before.
Yeah,
so.
And that's the thing about volleyball. There's no running clock or anything. You have to go point by point. So momentum's a very powerful thing to have on your side. Hit up by Fitzgerald. Livesay with the shot. Fielded by Montello. Sent back over by Marian, and that's going to find the back corner. Big shot. I believe that was by number 5, Jenna Butchlick, and just good placement. Don't look, Marian's cut this lead to 5. Montello with the serve. Gets it over. Fielded by Livesay. Nice play to keep it alive by White. Hit back over. Big shot by Marian, kept alive again. Livesay with the shot. Blocked to the line by Marian. Cougars get it over. Keep it alive. That one gets over, and the Cougars somehow win that point. Felt like they had their backs against the wall for the second half of that, but they were able to get it over. Sabres couldn't handle it, and the Cougars win a very impressive point.
Yeah, they saved that ball like 3 times right there in the middle. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, serve over by Livesay. Fielded by Marian. Hit back over, blocked at the line by the Cougs, and that hits the ground. Big jump up. I believe that was number 10, Lily Hunt. Got up, rejected, and that's going to force Sabres coach Blake Badkey to take his second timeout. And this has been an interesting momentum swing. It felt like the Sabres had momentum on their side, but then the last few points, Alfredo, the Cougars came back with a vengeance.
Yeah, it's been a kind of a back and forth after the first 10 points, but that's what I'm saying before that. It's a very interesting game when both teams are competing. If one team is just absolutely dominating, it becomes a little boring, so you want that competition between those two teams, that intensity.
Yeah, and, you might look at these two teams' records. Obviously they're not where either team would like them to be, but it's a very tough NAC conference this year. So just looking purely at the records don't tell the whole story. Both of the teams, again, are very hungry and want to pull out the wins. Badkey, first-year head coach for the Sabres. Obviously not the record he would like as a first-year coach, but he's trying to hype the team up now, telling them that they can still get back in this. Again, Cougars have a big lead. This is only set number 1. There's still a long way to go today.
Yeah, but they've showed that they have more than enough to dominate this game, so hopefully they continue throughout the next sets.
Now again, at number 13, Rachel Livesey back to serve for the Cougs. Marian bench trying to ice out Livesey. Does not work. Serve gets over. Hit over by the blocked to the line by the Cougs. Serve up. Shot there. Blocked again by the Cougs. Nice tap there. Marian just has to get it over now. Hit up by Livesey. Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt with the shots off the fingertips of the Marian front line. And the Cougars again get the big first point coming out of the Sabre timeout.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with Marian is there's a bit of times of miscommunication in which one is going to go for it, then doesn't. That's the biggest problem that they have right now.
I agree with you entirely on that one as the Livesey serve gets over. Marian with a shot. That's going to soar. I believe that was 25 for Marian. Lily Breed trying to find, saw there was room on that back line, but just put a little bit too much on it. And again, Rachel Livesey coming up to serve. So that gets over. Ooh, just a dump off there by Marian. Hit up by Fitzgerald. Kate Foley with the shot, fielded by Marian. Popped up again. Shot there. Bit of chaos at the line as Fitzgerald gets it. Tap to Foley. Blocked to the line by Marian. Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt. Lily Hunt, the perfect placement. That found the line. That was, again, a little bit of miscommunication by the Cougs, but Hunt saw the opening on the far side and perfectly placed it. Livesey serves up and over. Fielded by the Sabres. Tipped out the line by the Cougs. Fielded by White. Lily Hunt again with the shot off the fingertips of the Sabre front line, and the Cougars are now just 3 points away from victory, and they've also doubled up Marian 22-11.
Yeah, it seems somewhere around there in the middle that the Sabres were going to come back and kind of compete. Now it just looks like the beginning of the game just all over again. Yeah,
Cougars really running away with it here as Livesey gets the serve over the net again. Hit up. Marian gets it over the net. Oh, good placement there. Foley and Fitzgerald were just too far out of reach, so Marian kind of steals a point there as they try to see if they can pull off a bit of a miracle here in set number 1.
Yeah, just as we were saying that the Cougars were taking it away, Marian gets back a point.
Kaylee Engabus now back to serve for the Sabres. Fielded by White, hit up by Fitzgerald. Foley with the shot. Hit up by Montello. Fielded up by White. Fitzgerald, tap over. Recovered by Marian, hit up again. Tipped at the line. Livesey gets it. Ooh, Livesey was running forward to get the ball. She saved it, but there was no Cougars at that spot in the middle of the net. So again, Marian gets back-to-back points. Engabus serve gets over. Fielded by Foley. Nice play to keep it alive. Just dumped off there. Cougar points. I believe they're going to call a Sabre in the net on that one. So Cougars get the point, get possession back, get the lead back to double digits, and now are 2 points away from victory as they have a Janelle White serve coming up. White with the serve gets over. Fielded by Marian. Hit up and over. Blocked to the line by the Cougs, but went left to their own side. Couldn't make anything happen, so Marian gets the point. Now we got for Marian, we have number 3, Michaela Miller, coming in for number 7, Laura Massey. As now number 8, Natalie Dempsey-Encro serving for the Sabres. Fielded by Livesey, up by Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt with the shot. Whoa, Lily Hunt with a nice shot. Got it right past the head of Reagan Montello, who couldn't react. And now Cougars at set point with a very comfortable lead. Lily Hunt's serve is up and over. Fielded by Marian. Hit up. White sends that one all the way up into the bleachers, so the Sabres keep set number 1 alive, at least for a little bit longer.
Yeah, the Sabres want a little bit of a miracle here if they're going to try to make it back.
Yeah, we need 11 straight points in order to win set number 1. That serve gets over. That's in. So now they only need 10 straight points as Livesey and Foley just watched that one go in between them. This is a big thing if you're Marian here with your baskets wall. You literally have to play a perfect volleyball for the remainder of set number 1. Serve gets over, fielded by Livesey. Up from Fitzgerald. It's going to be hit by Fitzgerald, sent over by White. Fielded by Marian. Shot, recovered by Livesey to Fitzgerald. DeFoley hit up. Marian again gets it back. Hit over. White runs into her, tracking it under the lights is Livesey. Foley with a dump off. Foley just a little bit too strong on that one. She was trying to find the angle, just didn't get enough. Marian 3 points in a row, but again, backs very much against the wall.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the Cougars cannot get comfortable with any lead. They have to try to win this, and it's a...
And as you say that, Marian sends that one into the net. So the Cougars take set 1, 25-17. In a set that, again, if you remove some of those Cougar errors, Alfredo, this set's about 25-12, I think.
Yeah, I mean, most of the points that the Sabres got in the first few minutes were pretty much just errors from the Cougars, so it's not really like they dominated any. Closer to the end of it, they were a lot better, but in the beginning they really weren't.
Yeah, Marian picked up a slight bit of momentum there at the end, but Cougars take the first set as the two teams that take a quick break. We will too, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back here in just a few minutes on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back here on the Cougar Sports Network. Set number 2 is about to take place. Cougars win set number 1 by a pretty comfortable margin, 25-17. But one thing the Cougars did struggle with in set number 1 was some errors, Alfredo.
Yeah, they had a couple errors when serving, a little bit too far most of the time. That's how Marian got most of their initial points, but then Marian started to improve a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, like you said, Alfredo, Marian's offense did pick up a bit there near the end. They were able to score some points of their own, so they're hoping that, yeah, set number 1 didn't go their way, but maybe they can pick some of those up. And if you're the Cougs, you're thinking if you can just cut down your errors and the miscommunications, you can probably just kind of ride this thing to victory.
Yeah, they can't get too comfortable because the first set was a bit of a complete domination by the Cougars. They need to play exactly how they played in the first half.
Absolutely right, Alfredo. Eva Fitzgerald's serve is over, fielded by Marian. And hey, that's how you want to start a second set. Cougars get on the scoreboard first with an Eva Fitzgerald serving ace. That's actually her third serving ace of the day, which is quite impressive. Ace gets over again, fielded by Marian, hit up. Just kind of dumped over there. Popped up by White. Livesay sends it to the back line of Marian. Tapped up again. And nice placement there by number 28, Kylie Krieger. She saw that back corner of the Cougs was unoccupied. And Marian ties the game up for, I believe, the first time all day. I believe the last time this game was, I don't believe there's been any tie at all yet.
Yeah, I don't believe so, but it's pretty early on, so yeah, let's see how the game unravels.
Serves gets over, placed up, and Marian, just like that, gets their first lead of the day off the hit by, I believe, number 8, Natalie Demsky-Enkro. Livesay tried to field that ball, but just was sliding to her knees and wasn't able to. So Marian up 2-1. Serve gets over. Hit up by Hunt, sent over by Foley. Hit by Marian. Jumped up. Covered by Fitzgerald to White. Lily Hunt sends it. Nice play by Lily Hunt. She sent it. Reagan Montello had to dive for it, and the ball placement was in a spot where there were no other Sabre players, so Cougars tie at 2-2. Livesay serve gets overfielded by Montello. Hit up. Ooh, and Livesay diving to the left, isn't able to make a play. And it's very early in set number 2, Alfredo, but Marian's making it competitive.
Yeah, they really saw how they got dominated in the first set, and well, they don't want the same result for this next set.
Absolutely not. As Reagan Montello back to serve, gets that one over, fielded by White. Fitzgerald, big hit going off the wall. Recovered. That's coming up here. Nice grab by Lindley Southern to keep it alive. And that is something you kind of got to note here, Alfredo. We have a bit of some low-hanging walls here with the NAC banners, and that can make some plays messy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it hits, it kind of deflects it off to another spot, so it's complicated for the players down there.
Janelle White's serve gets over. Played by Livesay. It's off the wall. Cougars. It was a good play. Livesay wasn't able to hit it because she had made the first touch, but we also should point out have a low wall here that's currently on the Cougars side that you are able to play the ball off of. So yeah, Geisman Gymnasium has a few interesting design choices that are sure to keep the games interesting. Serve by Marian gets over, fielded by White. Fitzgerald goes up for it. Foley with the hit. And Montello's running for it and had to jog a long way mid-contact, but Michaela Miller wasn't able to get in touch. And again, Cougars tied up as these teams are just going back and forth in points.
Yeah, that usually happens a lot with these volleyball games. When a team dominates in the first set, then in the second set, it kind of becomes more competitive. It's not a complete blowout like in the first set.
Yeah. Blocked at the line by the Cougs, and no one's able to get a handle on it. Anya Unger able to make contact with a big rejection at the line by the Cougs. And Cougs get the lead back in the set. First 1-5. That serve gets over. Hit up. Hit by Fitzgerald. Foley hits it, sends it straight back. 5-on-3 violence as Foley sent that straight at Michaela Miller, who just got her hands up and the ball went backwards. Cougars now stringing some points of their own. They're on a 3-run scoring run. Serve gets over. Backed up, Montello hits it. And that's going straight into the net. Natalie Demsky-Enkro sent it into the net. Cougars, now again, it's still very early. They've got a few points. They're slowly starting to pull away. Lily Hunt serving again. Hunt gets the serve over. Hit up by Marian. Blocked at the line by the Cougs. Marian's able to recover and field it though. Sent back over. Hit by White. Fitzgerald. Back over by the Cougs. Hit up. Nice play by Marian. Nice play by Demsky-Enkro. She knew the Cougs were expecting a power shot, so instead she just kind of tapped it over, and that's what you got to do if you're Marian. You got to zig when the Cougs think you're going to zag.
Yeah, Eva Fitzgerald tried to do her best to get to that one, but it wasn't enough.
Demsky-Enkro with the serve, hits it over. Hit up, Foley with the hit, and Foley finds pay dirt, hits it just out of the reach of Demsky-Enkro, and the Cougs again willing to go point for point with Marian, considering that they're up by 3. Foley with the serve here on the back line. Foley serve gets over, fielded by Montello. Straight into the net by number 8, Demsky-Enkro. We've seen her, she's had a few plays where she's just tried to go for a power shot, but either hasn't timed the jump right or hasn't timed the angle, and as a result has just sent some ball straight into the net. Serve gets over for the Cougs. Hit up, blocked to the line by the Cougs, but it does go out of bounds. So Marian, they're happy to get a point back. Number 5, Jenna Butchlake serving for Marian University. Serve gets over, fielded by Livesay. Fitzgerald, and that's a power shot. Sabres are able to field it. Up again, Livesay to White. Hit over to Lily Hunt. So Marian gets it over, covered by Hunt. Fitzgerald just goes over the net with it. Marian gets it back over, sends it to, oh, that's just going to go right over the net. Errant touch for the Cougs, gets over again, and that one is going to find the back corner. Perfect placement for the Sabres. So bit of a volley there, but Cougars let the last hit go by, thinking it's going to go out. Instead, it manages to stay in.
Yeah, the Cougars had, kind of like expanded their lead a bit, but now it's back to a very close lead.
Bit of a weird play there, but Marian takes advantage, gets it over. There was a lot of space here on the Cougars' back line, and now Marian's got this down to a 1-point set. Number 5, Jenna Butchlick coming into serving for Marian, trying to see if she can tie this game up. Won't be able to tie it as that one goes straight into the net. Butchlick had one serving error in set number 1. She adds a second one on here in set number 2. Is now Michaela Lavoie serving for the Cougs. Lavoie serve gets over, fielded by Marian, popped up. Blocked to the line by the Cougs, kept up by Marian. Again, Cougars were up there, made some contact, but weren't able to get a substantive block. So again, two teams again are back to trading points here. Lily Breed back to serve for the Sabres. Breed serve gets over, fielded by White. Fitzgerald. Bit of a punch over there by the Cougs. Hit up. Sent over, and that's going to go wide. Kylie Krieger looking for paydirt, but just went a little bit too far with it. And if you're the Cougars, Alfredo, you got to make sure to take advantage of the Sabre errors.
No, yeah, absolutely. And right now they're going to try to expand their lead a little bit more because this has not been as comfortable.
And that's exactly a Sabre error that you want to take advantage of. An errant touch, sent it straight back over the net. And I believe it was Eva Fitzgerald that made the Sabres pay for it. She sent a power shot straight into the ground. And now Fitzgerald with the serve. Gets it over. And again, back like, man, Alfredo, I think we accidentally put the announcer's jinx on and spoke it into existence. The Sabres have back-to-back errors. That's going to force the Sabres to take their first timeout of set number 2. As the two teams take a break, we will too, but don't go anywhere. We will be back momentarily here on the Cougar Sports Network. We're back here on the Cougar Sports Network as the Cougars pulling away slightly here in set number 2. They've built themselves a 13-9 lead after the two teams traded points for a bit. But Alfredo, the last thing we were talking about heading to that timeout is the Sabres keep making errors.
No, yeah, and right now Ava Fitzgerald is doing a fantastic job. One of those seniors that just always is the pillar of this team.
Exactly, and Fitzgerald sends that one over. Nice play to keep it alive, but isn't able to. Fitzgerald able to tack on another serving ace. I believe that puts her at 4 on the day, so she's just stacking those babies up. Fitzgerald serve gets over again. Fielded by Marian. Hit up. Oh, almost a collision there, but Cougars get it up as Hunt hits it. And Hunt manages to send it to the ground. Nice play by Dembski and Crow for the Sabres to at least get an arm on it, but Cougars have back-to-back points coming out of that Sabre timeout, and that's just what you want to see.
And this Cougars team still has a really good bench right now that they could use, but they're sticking to their starting players just to keep that momentum going, as we were talking.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As the Cougars send it over, and that one's just going to go a little bit too far. I think it was Lily Hunt that was trying to find the back line, just put a little bit too much juice on it. As now Sabres have their first serve in a while. It's number 3, Michaela Miller taking it. Miller gets it over, fielded by White. Ooh, and a bad touch by White. Fitzgerald was coming in, and that set by White went right to where right to where Fitzgerald had been.
Yeah, a little bit of a miscommunication error, but I mean that's why they got to keep calm and just maintain this level-headed game.
Hit up by White. Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt with a big shot by Lily Hunt. She sends that to the back line. But going back to the point you just made, Alfred, that's a very good point. We have seen throughout this season that when the Cougars kind of go on a skid mid-set and the other team goes on a run, that causes them to kind of lose their heads. And so, like you said, they need to not do that here. And that's another server's ace for Coug. This time it's Rachel Livesay that gets it. So Cougars managed to move past that spot of miscommunication very quickly. Livesay serve gets over, fielded by Montello. Hit up, blocked at the line by the Cougs. Marian recovers, gets it back over, blocked at the line again by the Cougs, and that one's just gonna fly out of bounds. Cougars with 2 big blocks. That Cougar front line is really paying dividends.
Yeah, you got to give credit to the Cougars, but you also got to point out that Marian is a little bit disorganized at times.
That's a very valid point, and when you have the ball blocked back directly into your face, that causes you to have to improvise even more, so that can cause you to, like you said, make some even more miscommunications. So Livesay serve gets over, fielded the back line, hit up. Blocked at the line by the Cougs, sent into the net. Marian just has to get it back over. Fielded by White, that's gonna stay in. Nice touch by the Cougs. That was beautiful, great play by, I believe that was Fitzgerald, kept it up, and the number 4, Kirsten Bockhorst, sent it straight down, and Cougars now 6 points away from set number 2 victory. That's not gonna help as Rachel Livesay sends that one directly into the net. And if you're the Sabres, Alfredo, you'll take every opportunity you can get.
Well, yeah, that's what they hope, because otherwise this lead is going to continue to expand, and then they're not going to have a way to come back.
Alfredo gets that to Livesay. Hunt keeps it inbounds. Foley sends it back. Great block at the line by Kylie Krieger. She rejected that one straight down. But as you're saying, Alfredo, the Marian can't afford to trade points with the Cougs, so they are way too far back for that. They need to go on a few sustained runs in order to get back in this set. Montello serve gets over, fielded by White to Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt with a big shot, sends it directly at the front line of the Sabres. Sabres made contact, but Hunt's shot was too strong. Cougars are the first one to 20 here in set 2.
Yeah, and it feels like we've been saying this last set and then this set too, that Marian has to go on a run of points to actually come back and, at least compete in a way.
As Janelle White's serve gets over and Marian hits it, but aren't able to make anything with it. Kylie Krieger's shot just goes directly into the net. So, again, Cougars now, they just kind of have to coast. If it comes down to trading points here at the end, Cougars will take that every day of the week. White's serve gets over, kept in. So nice touch there by the Sabres. Popped up. Big shot by Hunt. Montello gets it up. Again, tipped at the line by the Cougs. Hit up by White. Fitzgerald. Foley keeps it up. Livesay. Foley again gets it over. And an awkward set there. It looks like, I think that's number 9. Carly Ward didn't really know what to do with that shot by Kate Foley. And that's going to cause the Sabres and their head coach Blake Badke to take yet another timeout as this set is quickly slipping away from them.
Yeah, and that if the Cougars win this entire game 3-0 in the sets, this would be their 3rd game that they win in that exact manner.
Yeah, you're right. It'd be their 3rd sweep of the year. And again, This is a Cougs team that it's been a very up and down season. You know, if you're Andrew Palmer, who's, as we mentioned at the top of the game, in his 3rd season as CUC coach, it's not the season you were hoping for based off how the team was performing last year. You were hoping you'd maybe be able to pick up a few more wins. But again, if you can try to pick up some wins here in conference at the end of the season, that way you can at least give yourself some momentum heading into next year, because as we've been mentioning, this team has a very stacked core of seniors that they will lose at the end of this season.
No, yeah, it's very surprising how this season went for them, because they really do have a lot of great players, and they had a lot of potential going into the season. So a little bit unfortunate, but you do what you can with what you have.
Exactly. You got to make do, and if you're the Cougs, you'll take the wins when you can get them, and just, again, try to build some piece of momentum here at the end. This is now Janelle White back to serve for the Cougs. Cougs 3 points away from going up 2-0. White serve gets over. Fielded by Marian, hit up again. And that's a great shot by Marian. Was able to curve it just around not only the front line of the Cougs, but also a few people in the back line there. So, and here's a fun stat, Alfredo. Marian's called it now 4 timeouts today. That's the first time they've gotten a point out of their timeouts.
That is true. That is the first time. And, I mean, it feels like this second set is very similar to the first set. In terms of points, I feel like it might even end up exactly the same.
That's very possible, as that shot's Marian tries to field it, just sends it directly into the crowd here. And Cougars now 2 points away from victory. Lily Hunt gets that serve over. Hit up by Marian. Blocked to the line by the Cougs. Marian fields it. It's going to be Cougars points. They're going to call 4 touches on Marian. So now the Cougars just 1 point away from the set 2 victory. Hunt serve is over. Fielded by Montello. Hit up. Blocked to the line by the Cougs. Not able to make anything of it. Hunt hits it up. Foley just dumps it over. Montello fields it. Blocked to the line by the Cougs. That falls out. Fortunate break there for the Sabres. Good eye there. So watch that one go out of bounds instead of trying to make what would have been a bit of a rushed play on the ball. Now Natalie Demsky-Enkro back to serve, trying to keep the Sabres set 2 dreams alive. That's over, fielded by Livesey. Up to Fitzgerald. Kate Foley, big shot, that's coming. Big play, Sabres keep it alive. Back to Livesey. Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt hits it again. Can anyone field it? Marian able to just get it over, send straight back over. Lily Hunt gets it up again. Fitzgerald. Foley sends it over again. Montello gets it up. Blocked the line by the Cougs. That one goes out. So again, Cougs able to send back-to-back points off the Sabres able to send back-to-back points off the Cougars front line. And again, keep set 2 alive.
This seems like an exact mirror set of the first one.
You are exactly right about that. Kept up by Fitzgerald. Hit over by Lily Hunt. She gets it over. Tapped up. Sent over, and that baby's going to soar, and the Cougars are going to take set number. I stand corrected. They are calling that Marian point. Not sure what the call was, Alfredo. Did you see it?
I am not sure either. I thought that was pretty much a win for the Cougs right there.
I would say it didn't look like a tip, but either way, Marian gets the point off the serve. Interesting turn of events there. Again, Marian still now, they need to score 8 straight points in order to tie it up 1-1. And it's going to have to be Demsky-Enkro doing all the work from the service line. Hit up by Foley to Fitzgerald. Foley says, have a nice day. Cougars take set number 2, and they go up 2-0. They said, hey, we'll brush off that slightly weird call 2 points ago, get back on track, and the Cougars continue. It looked close at the beginning. 2 teams are trading points already, but again, once the Cougars got rolling, the Sabres couldn't stop them.
Yeah, and honestly, it's just a mirror from the first set, a little bit better for Marian. I would say that Marian started off a little bit better than in the first set. In the first set, they were just getting absolutely wiped out. But going into this last part of the second set, it was a little bit more competitive.
It was a little bit definitely more competitive at the beginning, but I think literally it was a 1 point difference. The first set was 25-17. The second set was 25-18. So Marian's going to have to do a lot more course correcting if they hope to come back from this 2-0 deficit. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We have set 3 coming up shortly. We'll be right back here on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back here on the Cougar Sports Network. I'm once again Eric Perry, joined by Alfredo, as we got set number 3 coming up here. Cougars pulling out to a 2-0 lead off a back of some really dominant performances, Alfredo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both of the sets have been just absolute dominations by the Cougars, but Marian has tried. Marian has had a bit of a few run of points, but nothing that could really threaten the Cougars from losing the set.
Exactly, yeah. And like you were saying, set 1 was a pretty cut and dry Cougars easy win. Set 2, Marian was able to keep it close for about, I'd say, the first 10 points or so. But then once it got to that point, the Cougars were able to pull away. So again, it's going to be interesting to see here in set number 3 if Marian can get on the path to pulling off a 2-0 comeback, or if the Cougars can just coast and, as you said in set number 2, pick up their 3rd sweep victory of the season.
Yeah, and a 3rd sweep of the season would be an absolute great thing going into the next games, which would be Aurora University here in River Forest, home game. And then from there, it will be Milwaukee School of Engineering, MSOE, Dominican University, and then Lakeland University.
Yeah, exactly. You want to pick up that momentum. Livesey gets the shot over, took up at the line by the Sabres. Hit up. And that one's just going to soar. That one was just an absolute rocket from the Sabres, but wasn't able to find the ground. And the Cougars strike first here in set 3. Serve by Fitzgerald, gets over. Tapped over again. Big shots. Covered by Fitzgerald to White. Lily Hunt hits power shot. Set up. Blocked to the line by the Cougs. Up by Marian, just a dump off. Nice play by Foley to keep it alive. Up to White. Rachel Livesey tries to send it, but can't find the back corner. So the two teams trade errors here in set number 3. So now Montello back to serve, and that's going to go straight into the net. That is not what you want to see. If you're the Sabres, again, you're down 2-0. You kind of got to play perfect volleyball from here on out.
Yeah, it seems like they've hit their ceiling. I don't think they're going to get much better than this. They're probably going to try to get a better set in this one. But
And as you say that, Rachel Livesey picks up another service ace for herself. Goes straight into the hands of Michaela Miller, who just looked almost unprepared for it as it went straight out of bounds. And now again, Livesey back to serve. Livesey serve gets over, fielded by Marian. Hit up. Big shot there. Big shot there for the Sabres. A nice shot. I believe that was number 28. That's Kylie Krieger, was able to get the shot, find the gap in the Cougar defense. And again, Marian just trying to minimize damage, do whatever they can here. That serve gets over, fielded by White. Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt gonna go straight into the net and the pin. Yeah, Hunt not able to get that one over, so Marian again able to tie it up here early.
You'd think that they would have a little bit more of momentum going into this game, given that they won their last one, but it seems like it's kind of like the rest of the season, which has been.
And as you say that, Marian able to get their first lead here in set 3. They had a big block at the line that the Cougars weren't able to corral. So again, Marian has the lead. Now they need to do what the Cougars have done in the last 2 sets, which is go on some runs. Serve gets over, fielded by Foley. Fitzgerald out. Foley with the shot. Nice recovery by Montello. Keep it up to White. Fitzgerald. And an interesting just tap over the net there by Kirsten Bockhorst. It looks like she just got her fingertips on it, but it works out. The Cougars get the point and tie it up. As of now, Bockhorst will exit the game as Michaela Lavoie enters. Janelle White up to serve. Gets it over. Fielded by Miller. Hit up. Big shot there. Fielded by White. Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt. That's sent straight over. Nice run by White to keep it up. Nice play by Hunt to keep it up. And I say now, not what you want for the Cougs. Lavoie just had to get it over, and her set was just a little bit too strong. It found the back line.
Yeah, they did great to keep it in, but that last hit was just not exactly what you want.
No. Hit up by Livesay. Fitzgerald. It's kind of a dump over there. Sabres keep it up. Big shot there off the fingertips off Livesay. Fitzgerald. Foley taps it over, kept up by Miller. Sabres going up. Again, slap that one over to Fitzgerald. To White. Power shot there by Lily Hunt. Kept in the back line by the Sabres. Shot to get it over. Cougars points. Yeah, Cougars point on that one. Whistle blew a bit early. Didn't see exactly what the call was, but nevertheless, Cougars tie it up as now Lily Hunt's back to serve. Hunt gets it over. Hit up. Blocked at the line by the Cougs, and that's going to find the ground. Fitzgerald and Lavoie were a stone wall there, sent it straight down. Cougars retake the lead here in set 3.
Yeah, we're seeing the same thing as last set, just another good beginning for Marian, and then they just kind of slowly fall apart with time.
As that big shot sent out, Janelle White tried to recover, but again, just sent that one straight into the stands as Marian once again ties it up. And that's just going to be a poor touch by Rachel Livesay. She sent it straight backwards. Marian again retakes the lead, and this is what we saw in set number 2. The two teams are trading points early. Butchlick gets the serve over, fielded by White. Fitzgerald. Kate Foley tipped at the line by the Marian front line, but they're not able to do much with it. Ball finds the ground. Cougars again tying it up. Kate Foley back to serve for the Cougs. Gets it over. Big shot there. Split the difference. Got it past the front line. And Marian has been playing better than what we've seen in the first 2 sets, Alfredo.
No, yeah, they have. And one very interesting thing is that these two teams have faced each other 23 times, with the Cougars getting 14 wins out of those 23. So this is going to just expand the lead right there. The last time that they played each other, the Cougars took a 3-1 victory.
And that's just a quick dump off there by the Cougs. And that's going to find the ground. Foley dove for it, tried to save it, but the Sabres are now able to build themselves a 2-point lead. So The Sabres trying to get some momentum. That serve gets over, fielded by White. Fitzgerald. That's going to split the difference. A nice hit by Michaela Lavoie. Goes off the arm of a Sabre player and hits the ground. Again, the Cougars cannot afford, the Cougars don't want to kind of lose their heads just because they're down 1 or 2 points. Lavoie is back to serve now. Gets that up. Hit up by the Sabres. Just a tap there. Nice play by the Sabres. That was a very nice switch there. They could see the impending jump of the Cougars' front line, so instead of going with the power hit, they just hit a nice little tap over.
Yeah, and for the first time in these sets, Marian are actually taking a bit of a lead to the Cougars.
Hit up by, and that's not what you want to see. Just a poor set there. Cougars gave chase but weren't able to get it, and now the Sabres have pulled out to a 3-point lead, which I do believe is their largest lead of the day. Miller serving. Gets it over, fielded by White. Hit by Livesay, blocked at the line by the Sabres, and that one once again gets over, and now the Sabres have themselves a 4-point lead, and that's going to force Cougars coach Andrew Palmer to take his first timeout of the day. And Jonathan, if you're Andrew Palmer, what are you telling your team in the timeout right now?
Right now, I mean, there's really not much that you can do. Going into a set, I mean, you just got to try your best. This game has been a very complicated one, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, again, the Cougars can't afford to kind of lose their heads here. They gotta keep calm. They gotta keep rolling. They're up 2-0, but again, there's no clock in volleyball. It's if you let the other team come back, it's death by 1,000 cuts, and that's what Marian's trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, last year when they played, when the Cougars played Marian, they won 3-1, and it was a lot more of a closer game. Most of the sets ended in the 20s. This time, the first 2 sets were pretty much all the Cougars' domination, but Marian in this third set, have been doing a lot better than in the first 2.
Yes, and you can just see, I don't know whether it's their aggressiveness or if their communication is just better, but they have done a great job, like you said, here in set number 3, of making everything way more difficult for the Cougars to handle.
Yeah, I think I would say that it's both the aggressiveness and the communication, especially the communication, because a lot of those errors that we saw in the first 2 sets are not being committed as much in this set.
So that serve's going to get over, and that's a service ace for the Sabres. If you're the Cougs, you do not want that coming out of the timeout. The Sabres immediately growing their lead, getting it up to a 5-point lead. And now Sabres back to try to increase that lead. Fielded again. A tap over by Fitzgerald, recovered up by the Sabres. Power shot over, hit up by Foley. Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt. Corralled by the Sabres. Nice play to keep it alive there. Forces a run back. Fitzgerald. Livesay tipped at the line. Sabres keep it up. Hit up again. Sabres get it back over. Up by Foley. Tracking under it is Rethel. Hit up by the Sabres. Blocked at the line by the Cougs. Sabres again trying to keep it up. Nice play to keep it over. They have to keep it alive, and oof, and that's just an unfortunate turn of events there. You know, Lily Hunt had to dive to keep it from hitting the ground, but that left a wide gap that the Sabres were all too happy to take advantage of.
Yeah, now we're seeing this big gap between the Cougars and Marian. It's the 6-point lead. Not something you want to see, especially when you could just finish off the game now. But
yeah, you gotta keep your heads calm if you're the Cougars. If that one now gets over, hit up. Served by Marian. To Foley, to Fitzgerald. Smash shot over, but the Sabres handle it. Send back over again. Hit back by the Cougs. Another big power shot. Marian again able to recover it. Hit back over, set up by Fitzgerald. Hit up. Third time's the charm, blocked at the line by the Sabres. Fitzgerald again. Foley sends it back. Sabres keep it up. Avoid it from hitting the net. Bit of a miscommunication. They just have to get the ball over. They managed to do so. Set up by Fitzgerald again. Again, Sabres keep it alive in this set. or in this volley. Tapped up again. Fitzgerald. Sabres once again keep it up. Cougars keep it off the floor. Fitzgerald. Tap there. Nice play over the net. Sabres keep it up. Tipped at the line by the Cougs. Tapped up again. Fitzgerald dumps it over. Ball's staying alive. Fitzgerald once again. And that's just a little too much sauce. Neva Foster, she was looking for that big shot, that whole volley, and when she found it, she just put too much juice on it. And it's interesting to point out here, Alfredo, this is the first time today that we have seen Coach Palmer make some lineup changes.
No, yeah, I think that there was a little bit of fatigue from the first lineup. Obviously, playing 2 sets, it's tiring, and I mean, honestly, the momentum got kind of switched off for the Cougars, but I think you got to give them a little bit of rest.
Yeah, as they're Marian trying to set it up now, and they find that back line. That was perfect placement by Natalie Dembski-Ankro, and that's going to force Coach Andrew Palmer to take his second timeout, as they're now getting doubled up here, 16-8 by the Sabres. These two teams are going to take a super short break, but don't go anywhere, and so will we. But don't go anywhere, but we'll be right back here on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back here on the Cougar Sports Network, as we are in the middle of a very interesting set number 3, as the Marian Sabres are starting to pull away with it. They have officially doubled up the Cougs at 16-8. And Alfredo, coming out of that timeout, what do the Cougs need to do differently?
It's just, I think that the momentum got a little bit rocked when there was a few changes, but like I said, you need to give your starters a bit more of rest. Obviously, those first 2 sets were great. And now they just have to communicate. They just have to get into that momentum of points that they had in the beginning.
I think you're exactly right. Again, we've seen this throughout the season. When the Cougs get behind, they just kind of falter. And that's what they need to avoid doing here today. They need to just try to keep pushing the pace and see if they can get themselves back in this set. So that one gets over. And Neva Foster with the shot. Recovered by Marian. Tap over there. Nice play to keep it alive. Neva Foster with a nice little tap over there. Power shot kept up, and that's going to, ooh, that was a tough play. Number 4, Kirsten Bachos was just trying to keep it alive. And we have a bit of a different lineup here on the floor for the Cougars. Run through those real quick. Number 15, Beatriz Goncalves is on the court. Number 19, Milena Adler. Number 6, Bethany Rethel, and they're hoping that this combo can get the Cougs back in this. So that's hit up by the Sabres. Power shot there. Rethel, nice recovery off the ground. Neva Foster, big hit there, recovered by Marian. Just a dump off there. Bethel on her knees, diving for it. Cougars can't keep it alive. And coming out of that timeout, Marian's picked up the first 2 points. And again, the Cougars can't admit defeat. They have to keep their heads in this game.
Yeah, it seems very difficult to come back, but I mean, Marian had a lot of issues in the first 2 sets. Like, they just need to find a way through.
That's kept alive by the Cougs. Neva Foster going for the shot. Neva Foster again. She's been trying to go for that power shot a few times today, and it's just been a little bit too strong. And part of that, Alfredo, could be the fact she's just entered the game. She's got to get in the feel of it.
Yeah, in the first 2 sets, we mentioned that a lot of the points that Marian were picking up were errors from the Cougars, and now we're seeing those errors a lot more often. Hopefully they can patch them up so that this set doesn't go for Marian.
Yeah. Interesting play there by Marian to get it over. Hit by Rethel. Neva Foster taps it over, blocked directly at the line by the Sabres. The Sabres first ones to 20, and they are just absolutely running away with it. They are up 20-8 now, and the Cougars are just reeling in this third set. Serve gets over, fielded by Foster. Rethel just has to dump it back over. Marian recovers under it. Power shot, sent to the back line. Dump over there by the Cougs. Tap there. Bit of a weird play there at the net. Foster gets the block back over to the Marian side. Out there, Rothel dove for it, wasn't able to make contact, and again, the Sabres are running away with this third set as they're now just 4 points away from victory. And again, Michaela Miller back to serve.
It's going to be very concerning if the Cougars can't get double digits in this set.
Yeah, and the unforced error there by Rosemary Brenner. She just sent that one straight out of bounds. And at this point, if you're the Cougs, you're just trying to regroup for set number 4. Try to get your heads on straight. Serve gets overfielded by Rothel. And that one just goes right into the net. Adler couldn't even make a play on it. And this Cougars team is just becoming very discombobulated. They're kind of falling apart here in the third set. Miller again going back to serve. Hit up by Foster to Adler. Goncalves, fielded by the Sabres. Up again, Rothel, Adler. To Foster, off the fingertips. Sabres keep it up. And they're going to call, I believe they're going to call a Sabre in the net on that one. Blake Badkeys talking with the ref, just try to figure out what happened. Seems he agrees with that call. Cougars finally get a point. It's been a while, as now we got a few more starters coming back into the game. Eva Fitzgerald's back in, Lily Hunt's back in. And boy, do the Cougars have a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah, going into the fourth set, because I believe this is going to just eventually go for the Sabres. Going into the fourth set, I think they should just go back to their starting lineup. Not because any of the new players going in are doing a bad job. It's just they need to get that momentum back that they had in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Volleyball is a very momentum-heavy game, and the Cougars need to find a way just to recover some of that. That serve's going to go wide, so Cougars will at least make it 2 double digits here in the set, but now they need to score 16 straight points if they want to pull off a sweep, which seems a tad bit unlikely as Neva Foster is now back to serve. Hit up by Marian. That's going to fly out, so the Cougars able to get a point there on a Sabre error. Now they only need 15 points.
Will we see a Cougars miracle?
If we see a Cougars miracle here today, Alfredo, that would be, again, a miracle as the serve gets over. Blocked to the line by the Cougs. Hit up by Marian. Another shot. Tap over there. Recovered. Fitzgerald up with the shot. Lily Hunt blocked to the line. Rothel recovers. Tap up by Fitzgerald. Big shot there. Nice play by the Sabres to keep it alive. Hit up. Lily Hunt gets under it. Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt again sent directly into the hands of the Sabres, and that ball went directly into our scorer's table here. So again, Cougars are not done yet. They've strung a few points together.
Yeah, they don't want to go out of this set with only 12 points.
Eva Foster again. If the Cougars want to pull off a comeback, they won't be able to do so. There will be no sweep today. The Cougars will not be pulling their broomsticks out as the Sabres manage to course correct. They take the third set 25-12, cut it, the Cougars lead to 2-1, and now it feels like all the momentum's on the Sabres side as we head into set number 4.
No, yeah, I mean, I think this game is going to end up like last year's game, which was a 3-1 win for the Cougars. But it really does seem a little bit different than last year's game, considering that it was a lot more close in every single set. Most of those sets, like I said, 26-24, 25-22, 21-25, and 25-21. And in these sets, it seems like the Cougars in the first two completely dominated compared to this last third set, in which the Sabres, like you said, have all the momentum, have completely taken it.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Alfredo. And now, as the two teams take a short break, so will us here at the Cougar Sport Network. But, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We will be back here in just 2 short minutes. Don't go anywhere on the Cougar Sports Network. And we're back here on the Cougar Sports Network as the Cougars trying to pull out the win. They're not going to be able to get the sweep. Sabres picked up the win in set number 3, and it was a dominant win. 25-12 Cougars weren't able to do much of anything. And as we said right before we went to break, momentum very much on the Sabres side. Alfredo, if you're the Cougars, what are you doing to just try to course correct and focus up here in set number 4?
No, yeah, like I said in the first 2 sets, there was a lot of good communication. There was a lot of organization. In this last third set, the problem was that we saw what Marian had been struggling with in the first 2 sets, which was the organization, and the communication was just not there.
Exactly.
And going into this 4th set, they really do have to communicate a lot more with each other. I know that some of them just started and going in this 3rd set and don't have that momentum going for them, but still it can't be an excuse. We cannot let this go to a 2-2 and then try to win it in the 5th set.
I agree with you absolutely. The Cougars want to find a way to pull it out here. There's now Eva Fitzgerald coming back to serve, sends that over, covered by the Sabres. Hit up. That one's going to go really wide. Cougars line went up for it. Watch it go by. Going to make note, we got a few quick changes here on the Cougars lineup. In now is number 24, Harmony Cooper. As now Eva Fitzgerald is once again back to serve. Serve gets, and her serve was way too strong. That one ended up almost where the basketball hoop would have been if it was lowered. So the 2 teams trade errant power shots here early.
Yeah, the Cougars haven't been able to take a sweep against Marian since 2019.
Wow. That serve gets over by Livesey. Block, tipped out the line by the Cougs up to Lily Hunt. To Fitzgerald. To Livesey! Rachel Livesey with the big-time shot. She gets it right past Michaela Miller. Cougars taking the lead here early. And this is what you want to see coming out of the break. You want to see the Cougars get the momentum back on their side. As now Livesey, who had the point, will go back to serve. And that's just going to go right into the net. If you're the Cougars, you cannot afford those service errors. Now 23, Reagan Montello serving for the Sabres. Serve barely gets over, fielded by White on her knees. Lily Hunt with a big-time shot. She put some force behind that one, and the 2 teams are trading points early.
Yeah, Lily Hunt, one of the most important players right now in this game, along with Ava Fitzgerald.
She has the most kills by anyone with 12. And now we're going to see Harmony Cooper serve for the first time today. Serve gets over. Weird recovery by the Sabres, but they do recover it. Hit up by Quevedo. And just a weird play. Looked like Quevedo kind of double clutched that one and sent it into the net. And now Cooper will leave the game as Janelle White comes back in. So now number 30, Kaylee Engabus, is back to serve for the Sabres. Fielded by Livesey, up by Fitzgerald. Kate Foley hits it. And a bit of an awkward recovery there by Miller. Ball goes straight out. And again, the 2 teams trading points. Interesting sight here. Fitzgerald and Hunt are leaving the game. And back in are Beatriz Gonsalves, my apologies, and Milena Adler.
Yeah, it's a very interesting change, especially given that this game is very back and forth in this set, compared to the other sets in which there was obvious domination by one team or another.
Exactly. Foley with the power shot. Foley puts a little bit too much on it. She saw daylight there in the back, but just overshot it by a little bit. And we're interesting to see how some of those substitutions now pay off. Now the Sabres back to serve. Serve goes over, recovered by White. By Foley off the fingertips. Marian just has to hit it over now. Tap over. Covered by Adler. To White. To Foley. And a nice play by nice play, by Reagan Montello to try to dive for it and see if she can make a play on it. But again, hits the ground, and the Cougars are the first ones to 5. So now we see Rosemary Brenner in for the Cougs coming back to serve. Gets over. Ooh, and that's an errant hit. But the Sabres able to recover. Blocked the line by the Cougs, and that's just going to end up going out. The Cougars get a big-time block by the front lines. First team today to record first team here in set number 4 to record consecutive points. Now again, Brenner heading back to serve. Serve gets over. Hit up. Just has to get that over. And that was just an unfortunate circumstance for the Sabres. Grace Breed had an awkward angle. She tried to go coast to coast with it, south to north, but was not able to. And Cougars now have a 3-point lead. Brenner's serve gets over. Fielded by the Sabres. Popped up by Engelbus. Tapped up at the line. Adler. Livesey. That's going straight up. That's going to go off the short wall. I guess short standing is what you would call it. Nice play to keep it up. Tapped up by Brenner. And big time play there. Big time play by Ava Quevedo. She finds pay dirt with that one. And the Cougars now, don't want to knock on wood. Seems that they have a little bit of momentum.
No, yeah, like I said when we started this first set, the organization and the communication has to be the biggest key for them, and they have gotten better at that. You can see it with this point lead, and let's hope that they can continue it to just expand this lead even more.
Although the Sabres do get possession back, as that serve is going to just miss the end line. As that hit now gets over by Livesey, covered up. Blocked in the line by the Cougs, but it is going to fall out of bounds. It's a good play. Looked like Quevedo and Beatriz Gonçalves both went up for it, but just sent it straight out of bounds. And now the Sabres stringing together some back-to-back points. Hit by Livesey to Adler. Gonçalves, what a shot by Gonçalves. She made Jenna Butchlick just swing and miss on that one. And that's just, again, that's perfect placement. And if you're the Cougars, you'll keep taking that as you're trying to get the win. Janelle White's now back to serve. That serve is going to get over. Tapped up. White takes it. Up to Adler. Gonçalves. Good shot there. Tapped at the line. To White. To Livesey. Sends that one right off the arm of Montello and out. Cougars are the first one to 10.
Yeah, now hitting double digits, so you get a little bit more comfortable with more of a comfortable lead, but that doesn't mean that you're going to put your hands on you. You got to keep going to try to get as much of an advantage as possible.
Exactly. Got to keep the foot on the gas as White serve gets over. And that serve is just going to go, or that shot's just going to go straight out. Was trying to poke that around the arms of the Cougar front line. Just went a little bit wide left, and Cougs up by 5 now into their lead. White serve gets over. Fielded by Miller. And a block by the Cougs. Unfortunately, just went straight down. It went straight back and down, my apologies. Weren't able to send it back at the face of the Sabres. But again, if you're the Cougars at this point, you're happy to trade points considering you're up by 4. The serve gets over. Covered by, and that's just going to have to be a dump over. Cougars, great ability to just get that back over. But ultimately, the Sabres make them pay for their kind of miscommunication. They send a rocket down, and Cougars got to try to. It was a bit of a weird volley there on the Cougs side as Brenner just had to dump it over, and the Sabres just took advantage of the gaps in the line. Ooh, and just a mistimed jump there by Harmony Cooper. It looked like she thought it was going to be she just mistimed the jump there. I don't know whether she thought the ball was going to drop quicker or if she just, either way, Sabres take it. Nice play by Brenner to keep it up. Nice play by Quevedo. I believe that was Gonçalves, my apologies. Kept up by Adler. Livesey, almost a collision there. Cougars again just have to dump it off. And again, just Cougar miscommunication has allowed the Sabres to just cut this from a 5-point lead to a 1-point lead.
Yeah, they started off well with that communication and that organization, and now they're starting to fall off a little bit. Let's hope that they don't completely fall off.
Lily Breed's serve gets over, up by Adler. Nice hit. Marian taps it up. Adler hits it up again. To White. To Livesey. Found the line. Beautiful shot by Rachel Livesey. The Sabres cleared out. They thought for sure that one was going strong, but Livesey able to find the far line. And coming back into the game now, we have Eva Fitzgerald and Lily Hunt. So Coach Palmer is sending out the starters once again to see if they can do some damage. Serve gets, ooh, and that's not what you want to see from someone immediately entering the game. Fitzgerald's serve goes far, and again, Sabres keeping it close. So now Michaela Miller is back to serve for the Sabres. Hit up by White to Brenner. Rachel Livesey, tip to the line. Sabres get up. And that one goes really strong. Michaela Miller, she put her full force of her body behind that and just sent a rocket over. Now Rachel Livesey back to serve. Livesey already has 2 service aces on the day. I'd like to add to that number. Not able to. Cougars able to get themselves under control. Lily Hunt. And that one is just going to go all the way back, almost to the wall. So Cougars let the Sabres come back a little bit, but now string together back-to-back points of their own. Now Rachel Livesey with the serve. And that one's going to be in. Rachel Livesey, if you froze time and placed the ball, I don't think you could have put it any better. And that's going to force the Sabres to take their first time out here in set number 4. And Alfredo, the Cougars have just been going on a run here in these last few points. What do you think has changed that has allowed them to jump to a 4-point lead?
I think the entrance of Lily Hunt and Ava Fitzgerald really gives that bit of experience and leadership that gets their team going back into this game. Also, Rachel Livesey is a fantastic player who's done a great job. And like you said, in that last play, you couldn't put it in a better spot. That gives them a bigger lead, 15-11. Let's hope that it's 16-11, 17-11, and just keep it going.
That's what you're looking for if the Cougs. An interesting thing, you know, all again we've been talking about that today's senior day. We celebrated the big core of seniors that this Cougar team has. Rachel Livesey is only a senior, so it's nice to know that you have at least one more season out of her if you're Coach Palmer. But
yeah, again, Rachel Livesey right now, junior, and still got another season to go, and I think she's going to be one of the pillars for next season.
Without a doubt, absolutely 100%. And now the Cougars, again, 10 points away from getting the victory here. They're just trying to get those last few and send the home crowd happy here on senior day. As once again, Rachel Livesey is coming back to serve. Sabre bench chanting ice did not work out. Ball gets over. Nice tap there, sent to Hunt. To Fitzgerald. Blocked to the line by the Sabres. Just a weird play. It almost looked like Harmony Cooper wasn't ready for Fitzgerald to just kind of tap it up to his result. She just kind of had to swing her arm over and tap it over, and the Sabres made him pay and managed to pick up that crucial first point out of the timeout. Reagan Montello now back to serve. Serve gets over, fielded up by White. And an interesting play. That's going to run. Montello gave a very good chase, but couldn't pull it down. And Cougars get a little bit of a lucky break. There was kind of an unorthodox play, but they will take it. And again, they're happy to trade points with the Sabres. Now that we're here, as Harmony Cooper is once again back to serve. Cooper's serve gets over, fielded by the Sabres. Blocked in the line by the Cougs. Kept in by the Sabres. Popped up by Livesey. Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt sent straight up. Oh, nice play to keep it alive. And Cougars can't quite keep it up. It's a good play by Cooper. She just dove to the ground. Looked like she took a hard shot on the back of her head. There might have been, couldn't tell if someone's leg hit her or she just smacked her head on the ground trying to save the ball, but Janelle White's now back in the game as, once again, Kayla Engabos back to serve out for the Sabres. Serve is over, fielded by Livesey. Hunt keeps it in. Foley just has to dump it back over. Sabres get it over. That one goes wide. Cougars get the points. Managed to get back up to a 4-point lead. And now, interesting again, Alfredo, Hunt and Fitzgerald are once again exiting the game as Adler and Gonsalves come back in their place.
I wonder if it's going to go back to what we saw with a little bit of a couple of errors, or if we're going to continue to see that great form that we have been seeing in the past few plays.
Well, Adler serve gets over, but the Sabre front line is able to send it past the Cougar front line and neutralize that threat immediately and get possession back to the Sabres. Is now number 8, Natalie Dempsey-Encro is back to serve, trying to help the Sabres go on a bit of a run. Dempsey-Encro serve gets it over to White, to Adler, to Gonsalves, who just kind of punches it over. Engabos gets under it. Blocked to the line by the Cougs. Hit back up by Engabos. Miller puts a rocket on it, and she gets it past everyone. White gave a good dive to try to make anything happen, but wasn't able to. And the Sabres now are slowly getting back in this. Only down by 2 now. Dempsey-Encro serves over. And that's an ace for Dempsey-Encro. Rachel Livesey dove for it, just couldn't get there in time, and just like that, the Sabres have flipped this from being a 5-point game to just a 1-point set.
Yeah, the Cougars are losing the lead. Marian is getting extremely close, and you got to be careful because otherwise this game could go into the 5th set.
That's going to be tapped over. Marian gets it back over. Kept up by White. To Foley. Gonsalves just puts too much juice on it. She timed it perfectly, but just ended up rocking it out of bounds, and that's going to force Coach Andrew Palmer of the Cougs to call a timeout, as now this is suddenly a tied set number 4, and will the two teams take a short break, so will all of us here at the Athletic Communications. But don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back on the Cougar Sports Network. Thank you. Welcome back here on the Cougar Sports Network as we are in a deadlocked set number 4, 17-17, as the Cougars a few times this set have been able to pull out to a 4 or 5 point lead, but again and again the Sabres just keep tying it back up. Is now Natalie Dempsey-Encro coming back with the serve, and that's what you want if you're the Cougars. You get the point straight out of the timeout, and it's an error by the Sabres, so that kind of takes some of the wind out of their sails. So if you're the Cougars, you will take that every day. The week is now Rosemary Brenner. The freshman is back to serve. Brenner's serve gets over. Diving play to keep it up. And that's a rocket pat to the back line. Brenner made a good dive for it, but wasn't able to keep it. And so coming out of that timeout, the two teams trade points. Both teams 7 away. The Cougars 7 away from calling it a day. The Sabres 7 away from forcing set number 5. And speaking of 7s, Lauren Massey is now back to serve. Brenner hits it up to Adler. Harmony Cooper gets it back up. Cooper with the big second. Sorry, my apologies. Ava Quevedo with the big second shot. She gets that one straight into the ground, and that's what you want if you're the Cougs. And now Quevedo exit, and Harmony Cooper comes back into the game as now we have Janelle White back to serve. And you'll take that if you're the Cougs. That's just an errant handle by, I believe that was Demski Enko. It looked like she thought at the last second it was going to go out, then realized it wasn't, so her arm got stuck in a weird halfway there spot, and the Cougars up by 2. White gets the serve over. Popped up by the Cougs. Blocked at the line by the Cougs, but it goes straight down. Doesn't go over, so the Sabres get a point here.
It's a very close game right now. It's very cardiac, and we're going to hope that we continue this tiny lead that we have. Try to get over the line.
Yeah, Cougs just trying to keep it going. Lily Breed back to serve. Nice play by White to keep the ball alive. They just have to get it back over now. Sabres pop it up. Finding the back. Up by White to Adler. To Rachel Livesay. That one gets over somehow. That one gets over again somehow. Adler. Livesay gets it up. Sabres going for the shot. Fielded by Brenner. Big shot by Corvedo. Blocked to the line by the Cougs. Sets up again. That's just a tap there to Adler. To White. Gonsalves sends it directly into the net. Just mistimed the angle on that one, and we are knotted up here at 20. Both teams now 5 away, and really, it's very much any one set.
It's a very exciting game.
There's absolutely no doubt about that. Alfredo is now Lily Breed back to serve. Oh, and that's an errant hit. Cougs just have to get it over. Tapped at the line, so back to the Cougs. Adler gets it back. Dump off got over the net somehow. Gonsalves now getting, and Gonsalves on back-to-back points just mistimes the ball and sends it directly into the net. And now we have Gonsalves and Adler will exit the game as Eva Fitzgerald and Lily Hunt come back in as Palmer sending the, I guess we would send the starters back out to try to close this one up, try to take the lead and the win back from the Sabres. Hit by White. Fitzgerald. Livesay just absolutely rockets that one out, and all of a sudden the Sabres have gone on a 4-point run. They're 3 away from victory, and that's going to force Cougar coach Andrew Palmer to call his first time out here in set number 4. And Alfredo, the Cougars got a few points. They had the lead, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of unraveled here.
Yeah, no disrespect to Marian, but this really shouldn't be that difficult of a game how it's actually gotten right now. This should have been like a sweep 3-0. Marian has done a good job to get better and improve and have a little bit more organization, but the Cougars also have gotten a little bit more disorganized in these last 2 sets than in the first 2 ones. In the first 2 ones, they were amazing.
Yeah, in the first 2 sets, like you said, the Cougars were dominant 25-17, 25-18, and then it's just like they came out in set number 3 and for whatever reason had just lost all momentum. In set 3, Marian just kind of stomped on them, and now this set number 4 is the closest one we've seen all day, but again, I just don't know if you can say exactly where it went wrong for the Cougars. Maybe Marian's communication got better and the Cougars started making more errors, but again, if the Cougars end up dropping this set and then set number 5, if you're Andrew Palmer, you're going to look back at this and wonder where it all went wrong.
I think they just got a little bit too comfortable with the lead that they had, and now it's coming back and it's getting a little bit scary.
Exactly. Lily Breed's serve gets over, fielded by White, by Fitzgerald. Harmony Cooper with a tap over, covered by Marian. Marian with the tap over their own to White. Livesay again. Livesay trying to find that back corner. Just puts a little bit too much on it, and now the Sabres are 2 points from victory. And if you're the Cougs, you just got to go on a run. You got to score 5 in a row. Right, that's all there is to it. Breed serve gets over. Brenner, Fitzgerald, Lily Hunt with the big shot, tipped at the line, covered by Marian. Sent over, hit up by White. Brenner gets back under it. Livesay gets the big hit, run, hits the ground. Cougars able to steal a point back from the Sabres, and that's exactly what you need.
Yeah, like you said, they had to go on a 5-point run, and they can. We've seen them go on runs like these, and I think that is just possible. It actually is.
It's absolutely possible. Yeah, Fitzgerald back at the serve. She gets that one over. Tipped up. That was just a weird play there at the net. Hit up by White. Fitzgerald. Livesey goes with a lighter shot that time, gets it over to Marian. Marian hits it over. Nice play to keep it alive, but that's going into the 5th row of the seats. And now it is set point for the Sabres. They're 1 point away from forcing a set number 5. And now the Cougars need to score 5 in a row to make sure that we don't have to go to set number 5. Miller's serve gets over. And that's going to go back. What a recovery. Cougars just have to get it over now. And they watch it fall. Hunt and Harmony Cooper were there. It fell in between the both of them. And we are heading to a winner-take-all set number 5, Alfredo.
Yeah, like I said, and throughout these last 2 sets, it's the communication that sometimes got lost somewhere in between the 2nd and 3rd set. Right there, you could see it. Both of them were going to go for it. Then at the end, nobody went for it. They really have to go into this 5th set with with a more focused mind, because otherwise they could just lose this entire game.
Yeah, and that's what you run the risk of. Momentum very firmly on the side of the Sabres is now. The Sabres, they're feeling the energy on their side of the court. The Cougars just trying to find a way to regroup. Set number 5 coming up here on the Cougar Sports Network. Don't go anywhere. It'll be only just a few minutes until the next 2 minutes. Roll Cougs. Welcome back here on the Cougar Sports Network as we are now entering set number 5. A fact that seemed very unlikely at the end of set number 2. The Cougars had coasted. They won 25-17, 25-18. But since then, it's been all Sabres. They absolutely dominated the Cougs in set 3. They won a close set number 4. And now, it's not the first of 25. It's the first of 15, which makes it all the more tight as the Sabres very firmly have momentum on their side.
Yeah, let's hope that we don't expand this lead, this winning streak of Marian to a 2-game winning streak. They already had one win against Alverno, and the Cougars are coming from 3 losses in a row. So let's hope that it's a win for us and not a 2-game winning streak for them.
At this point, if the Cougs do pull off the win, it wouldn't be a nice, strong win like they thought it would be at the beginning. It'd be an ugly win, but they just want the win now as Michaela Miller back to serve for the Sabres. Gets over, recovered by White. Fitzgerald to Lily Hunt. Hits the ground, hits the corner, and the Cougars strike first. And that's exactly what you want if you're the Cougs.
Yeah, especially in a day like this where it's senior day and then everybody's very excited because their parents are here and everybody's watching. You want a win.
Exactly. You want to win on every day of the week, but on senior day, it's even more potent as now Harmony Cooper with the serve going to get over. Gets to the back. Tap to the line. Livesay recovers it. Fitzgerald gets it back. Livesay with the hit over. Hit up. Nice play by Livesay. Cooper settles under it. That's going to be Fitzgerald. Just kind of has to dump it over the net there. Hit up. Tap over there. What a play by Cooper! What a play by Harmony Cooper! Wow, that's the play of the day so far. Cooper fully horizontal, parallel to the ground, diving for it, hit it over, and found the spot where there were no Sabres. Wow, 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 wow. Wow. Cooper now with the serve. Keeps it up. And that's straight into the net for the Sabres. And if you're the Cougs, you're like, okay, we got a big-time Harmony Cooper play, and they're feeling themselves now.
Yeah, this is the momentum we've been talking about. Let's hope that it can continue, because once we get to 15, it's over. It's pretty much over.
Yeah. Cougars now 20% of the way there. Harmony Cooper once again serving, ignoring the screams of the Sabre bench. Hit back over. Sabres just kind of have to dump it off there. Nice run by Livesay. Fitzgerald gets under it. Bit of a weird corner. Foley was trying to get a poke over, but ended up just pulling it a little bit left. So Sabres get their first point of set number 5. Is now Reagan Montello back to serve. Montello with the serve, barely gets over to White. Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt with the big shot. Fielded by the Sabres. Hit up. And that one hits the ground. He had 2 runners. I believe that was Kate Foley and Janelle White, but Sabres get back-to-back points, make it 3-2. Keeping things very interesting. Served by Montello, gets over, fielded by White. Fitzgerald barely gets over, but it does anyway. Block the line, Livesay. Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt blocked the line. That one rolls out of bounds. Very fortunate roll of the ball for the Cougars. That had pulled in about 6 inches or so that would have landed in. But again, Cougars will take it as now Lily Hunt is back to serve. Hunt serve gets over. Sabres get it. Sent back. Livesay fields it. Fitzgerald. Quevedo. Nice shot by Ava Quevedo. Kind of came in there at an angle and managed to ricochet it into the ground. And now the Cougars 1/3 of the way there. Hunt serve gets over. Big shot there, and Kate Foley was able to get a block on it, but she blocked it straight out of bounds. So Sabres picking up a point, continuing to keep it pretty close here at the start of set 5. Winner take all. The first 4 sets don't matter. All that matters now is who can be the first to get to 15. Serve is over. Hit by Livesay to Fitzgerald. Oh, Livesay just taps it back over. Sabres able to make do with it. Hit back up by White. Kate Foley found the line. No, they're going to say it didn't find the line. From this angle, it looked good for a sec, but the refs call otherwise. And now just a 1-point lead for the Cougs. Serve gets over, fielded by Livesay. And again, miscommunication there by the Cougs. Livesay and White kind of collided with each other, and it left a gap here up by the net for the Cougs. And now the Cougs are just trying to refocus. It's 5-5.
Yeah, the Cougars started really well, and now it's getting a little bit complicated.
Nice tap by Quevedo to get over. Blocked to the line by the Cougs. It's going to be Cougar points. Not sure what the call was, but anyway, it is a Cougar point nonetheless, so they'll take it. They have the lead back now. Is now number 23, Rosemary Brenner is back to serve as Kate Foley will exit the game. Brenner's serve gets over, kept in by the Sabres. Blocked to the line by the Cougs! Big time block! Big time block by the Cougs. I believe that was Quevedo and Livesay. They went right up there and sent it back down. Cougs about halfway there now is once again Brenner back to serve. Brenner's serve gets over, kept up by the Sabres. Hit over, White to Fitzgerald. to Lily Hunt. Lily Hunt, she saw this near side corner here. She was looking for it, but could not find it. And again, Sabres keep it close. Now, Natalie Dempsey-Encrow back to serve for the Sabres. Gets that over, fielded by Brenner to Fitzgerald to Livesey. Kept up by the Sabres. Send it over on 2 hits. Nice play by Hunt to keep it up. Corvader just has to get it back over. Sabres coming over for it. Oh, and Janelle White takes that one right off her face. That was a very rough hit as the Sabres tie this one up.
Yeah, an absolute rocket, nothing to do for her. I mean, honestly, this game has gotten closer than we would have expected.
Yeah, White tried to pull her hands, but she took the full force of that shot right off her face. Now they're wiping down a slick spot there on the court. And now 7-7, so now Alfredo's just the first one to score the next 8 points.
Yeah, and 8 points can go by real quick. We'll see which team does that. I really do hope that we get the ball a little bit more.
Hit up by White to Fitzgerald. Rachel Livesey tipped up at the net by the Sabres. And up. Blocked at the net by the Cougs, but it goes straight down, and now the Sabres have the lead. The two teams now switch sides, and this is rough if you're the Cougs. Again, you jumped out to a few-point lead here in the 5th set. You were up 3-0, and then the Sabres just keep getting back in it.
Yeah, it's very difficult to understand how the first 2 sets you were absolutely dominating without it. It was not even close. And then in the next 2 sets, you get absolutely dominated. Right now, it's a very close game. It really could be anyone's game, but it looks a lot better for the Sabres. The Cougars really have to start picking it up.
Yes, Sabre serve gets over. That's just going to go over the net, tipped over the line. Nice kind of dump-off play there. Keep it up. Corvado gets it back over. Sabres hit it. Tap up. Nice play by White on her knees. That one's going to get back over. Cougars can't cross. Sabres get a point. And, we've been talking about the Cougars kind of collapsing here down the stretch. You got to give credit where credit is due. The Sabres have adapted, and they have flipped this game around. Blake Badke has been able to get his team focused and on track, and now the Sabres just 6 points away from a victory. Fuel up. Big shot there, and that doesn't have any momentum. Jordan Brown, the first time we've seen her today, goes into the net, and that's going to force Andrew Palmer to take his first timeout of the set. The Sabres now the first ones to 10, and it's just, this is what we've seen all year, Alfred, and we keep talking about this. When the Cougars get down, they can't get out of their own way.
Yeah, it never fails to impress me how in these games, even when you have a huge lead, even when you think you have it completely in the bag, it can turn around for you. And it's really surprising how when you have this much of a lead, if you don't focus, if you don't concentrate, if there's no organization, no communication, all of those things together, you can really lose the whole entire momentum of the game and lose it completely.
Yeah, it's just when you have to be on it every single point, every single set, because the second you let up or you get distracted just a little bit like we saw the Cougars do, you just leave the window wide open for the other team, and the Sabres have taken advantages. They were down 2-0. They've tied it 2-2, and now they're 5 sets away from pulling off a reverse sweep of the Cougs. And if you're Coach Palmer, if you're Andrew Palmer of the Cougs, you got to get your team back in this somehow. You can't trade points. You need to go on runs, and we saw the Cougars go on runs in sets 1 and 2, and it's just they just haven't been able to recently. As now Rachel Livesey entering the game as Jordan Brown exits.
Yeah, 5 points is just way too close. You have to go on a huge run of points.
Hit up by Livesey to Fitzgerald. Just had to be a dump over there. Hit up again. Power shot there, blocked at the line. Can't corral it though, as now the Sabres get that all-important first point coming out of the timeout. And now Sabres up 4 on the Cougs, and also 4 points away from victory. Now what you want to see is Dempsey-Encrow gets the serve over, and you'll take that if the Cougs. They needed a point. They're happy to take it. They need errors. They needed every point now. Cuts the lead to 3, but again, Cougs got to go on a run here as Janelle White's back to serve. White serve gets over. Fielded by the Sabres. Hit up. Hit over to Brenner. Fitzgerald keeps it alive. Livesay, ooh, kept it alive by the Sabres. It might have been wide. Blocked the line by the Cougs. Going back. Sabres managed to keep it up. And that's into the net by Dembski and Crow. The Cougars get maybe a lucky break there on that one. They score back-to-back points. That's going to force Coach Blake Badke of the Sabres to call his first timeout of set number 5. And while these two teams take a moment to rest, we will too here on the Cougar Sports Network. But don't go anywhere. We will be back shortly. We are back here on the Cougar Sports Network, here as we are in the waning moments of today's matchup between the Concordia Cougars and the Marian Sabres. I'm Eric Perry, joined by Alfredo Jaramillo Ruiz, as the Cougars trying to string a few more points together, pull off the comeback here in set number 5. As Janelle White's back to serve, gets it serve over, hit up by the Sabres. Blocked to the line by the Cougs. Fielded by the Sabres. That goes straight up. Has to be a dump off by Miller. Livesay, Fitzgerald. Livesay goes too far, trying to go north to south. Put too much juice on it. And now Sabres get their lead up to 3 and are also only 3 away from victory. And that's going to force Coach Andrew Palmer to call the Cougars' second timeout of the day. And that's just oof. It's a backbreaker if you're the Cougs. You know, you go into the timeout, keeping it close, but then you allow the Sabres to get a few coming out. It's not what you want to see.
No, absolutely not. I mean, we need those mistakes that Marian was making in the first 2 sets to come back. Right now, honestly, it seems really difficult to get this win, just because if we make a few more mistakes, it's over, and we still have a lot of points to get back. We only have 9, and we still need another 6, and it's going to be complicated.
Yeah, Sabres need exactly half of what the Cougars need in order to pick up the W here today here at Geisman, so they're looking for it. Now number 7, Lauren Massey, back to serve for the Sabres, trying to help slam the door shut on the Cougs. And that's going to get over, hit up by Brenner. Fitzgerald, Livesay, fingertip touch at the net. Sabres hit it up, get it back over, and that found the hole right in the middle. You could see it from here, Alfredo. There was a gap in the middle of the Cougar defense, and unfortunately for the Cougs, you and I weren't the only ones that saw it. The Sabres saw it, they exploited it, and now they're 2 away from winning.
Yeah, that
serve gets up. And I don't know what happened with that one. Every Cougar in sight backed away from it. White very easily could have gotten that one. Livesay could have got that one. It's just they had plenty of time. They just watched it come up and come down, as now the Sabres are at match point. It hits up Fitzgerald. Lily Hunt taps it over. Up at the net. Tap. And that's going to be kept alive by the Cougs, keeping it up. Sabres get it up. Big shot. That's going to be off the Cougs. It's off the tip. And the Sabres pull off the reverse sweep here at Geisman Gymnasium. And, you know, Alfredo, it was a very big switch from what we saw the first 2 sets. You know, first 2 sets, Cougars seemed to be cruising. They won by 8 and 7 respectively. But then in sets 3, 4, and 5, I don't know what happened. The Sabres were just able to get themselves back in this and pull off the big-time comeback.
Yeah, unbelievable results. Honestly, for the Cougars, it's not what you want, especially on senior day. It's not what you want in any game, especially given that you had such a big lead and that you were playing so well in the first 2 sets. For Marian, this is an absolutely dream game to come back and win the whole entire thing. what can you say? They'll go back home with a smile on their face. Meanwhile, the Cougars will try to regroup for the next game here in River Forest against Aurora.
And I think one thing you do have to note is Lily Hunt was big for the Cougars. She had 11 kills through the first 2 sets, but then just kind of disappeared from view down the stretch in sets 3, 4, and 5. And, that's a partial aspect of what allowed the Sabres to get back in this. And, again, like you said, it's senior day. If you're the Cougs, you want to have a different result, but ultimately you just gotta find a way to move on from what really is, it's a heartbreaking loss. You're up 2-0 on senior day. You thought you were cruising to an easy victory, but instead the script gets flipped on you. Now, again, you got to move on. Like you said, Alfredo, Cougars will next be in action this coming Thursday, October 30th. They will take on Aurora University here at Geisman Gymnasium. Start time for that is 7 p.m. And, the end stretch of the season is coming for the Cougs. They're trying to course correct here. And obviously, it's a heartbreaking loss. Again, you go up 2-0, you let the other team come back and go 3-0, reverse sweep you at home on senior day. It's a tough loss to come back from, but the Cougars will have to recover. But on the production side, obviously, there's many, many people that make this game day possible. And so we have to give a shout out to all of them. Scoreboard is done by Samantha Ferdinand. Our libero was Grace King. Spotter, Lindley Southern. Camera was run by Tremaine Dockery. Scorebook was done by the always terrific Terry. Photos were taken by Emmy Lucero. Stats were done by our graduate assistant, the one, the only Sydney Lloyd. The head of all, we are led by the assistant athletic communications director, the one, the only Corey Welch. And at the helm of this ship, the leader of this crew is the one, the only, the athletic communications director at CUC, Kayla McLeod. I've been Eric Perry. Again, I had the pleasure today of being joined by Alfredo Jaramillo Ruiz. We'll see you next time, everyone. Until then, roll Cougs.